there, this is Chad Garber, and in this video I'm going to show you how I play Ever Be by Kalley H. If you like this video, by the way, give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more like this. Now I learned this from the actual guitar player. He has a video out there, and I changed a couple things. There's one chord, two chord discrepancies, and then the way I fingered some of the chords he says, I do a little differently, I think. But this is accurate and definitely to the official song in the video. Okay, so let's get into this. The first one is the part I just showed you. And what I'm going to basically do is I take my ring finger, I put it on the 12th fret of the D. I take my middle finger, I put it on the 11th fret of the G. And I take my pointer finger and I put it on the 10th fret of the B. And I'm basically going to pick down on those four strings, but I'm going to pick down on the D, and then the B, and then the G, and then the E. So it's like this. And he has that. You got to listen to it to get the right timing. It's a little bit tricky. That's what it is. He does that 4 times. What I do is I pick down on the D, I pick up on the B, I pick down on the G, and then I pick up on the E. And that's what it does. And yeah, I gotta say this, it's tricky, some of these chords, because I have, like, my fingers are kind of fatter than I'd like them to be for these chords, because the chords are really close together. And so I came up with the way that works the best for me to switch from one chord to the other. The way he does it might be a lot easier for you, but here's how I do it. So that's the first one. You're going to keep that same picking pattern throughout this whole introduction, okay? So the next thing I do is I take my ring finger and I just move it over to the 11th fret of the D. And then keep all the other fingers the same. Again, that's a little bit tricky. Same picking. He did it, I think, a different way, or there's other ways you can do it, but to me that one makes them. What I try to do on all these changes, I try to have one finger planted and then just move the other two, or the other one, whatever. I just try to have at least one finger planted because it makes the transition from each chord easier. So the first one is. My pointer finger, or my ring finger, over to the 11th fret of the D. And then what I do is I keep my ring finger planted right there on the 11th fret of the D, and I move my pointer finger to the 9th fret of the G, and I take my middle finger and I put it on the 10th fret of the B from where it was. So it's like all I have to do is I keep this one finger there and I move those two fingers to the new position. To me, it just helps having that root rather than just trying to go all the way for a different one. I'm gonna try to go it from without a root, trying to just go completely to a different chord that fast. Got one finger down. The other two fingers while holding down the middle or the ring finger on the 11th fret of the D still. Move that like that, see? And then what I do is I keep my middle finger planted on the 10th fret of the B, and I take my pointer finger, I put it on the 9th fret of the D, and my middle finger on the 11th fret of the G. So that's the whole part, and to me having that plant is so helpful, so I'll go real slow. Okay, so that's the first part. Second part is he does it, well, actually when the verse comes in, or when they right after that part, the electric guitar goes away for a little while, and then you come in with a swell. I'm not using a swell, but if you have a swell, use a swell. It's swell to use a swell. But if you don't, here are the chords, and here's where there's a little. I'll tell you where the difference is. The first two chords are the same as he talked about. The first one it's a G, but the way we do it is I take my pointer finger, put it on the 7th fret of the G. My ring finger, I basically make a D shape starting on the 7th fret. the D shape. I just move that up to the 7th fret, and that becomes a G. So the swell starts there. And then I do a D, which is just putting your pointer finger over the 7th fret of the D, G, and B strings. Just hit those 3, not the high E, just those 3. You're hitting the triad, it's real important. And then the D. And he says to go to a B minor, which he might do. But I'm not going to teach you that because it doesn't seem like he does that, or it doesn't match the song. It seems like what it sounds like to me is I go to an A, which is simply moving your D shape from the 7th fret to the 9th fret. And then go back down to the 7th fret, go back to the G. And then the next part, I don't hear any guitars, but the next part, the chords he mentioned does work there. Like if you want to do the guitar, I don't hear any guitars there, but if you want to, it's the D, or the G with the 7th fret of the D shape on the 7th fret, so that's a G, and the D again, and then a B minor. And what that is, you put your pointer finger over the 7th fret of the D, G, and the B. Take your ring finger and put it on the 9th fret of the G. And just hit those 3 strings, not the high E, just the G, B, and D. And then it goes to the A, to the 9th fret of the D shape in the 9th fret. That's what he was saying. It happens during the swell. Again, it probably does in some version of the song. It does. I'm just saying on this particular version, it's called the Ever Be official lyric video. Kalley H. I can't even say her last name. We Will Not Be Shaken. That video, it seems to be what it works better going to the A and then rather than to the B sharp. Again, probably different versions of the song or whatever. All right. And so, but with the swell, it sounds good that way. Okay. So that's the second part. Third part is this, and this is a little bit different than he taught. It's very close though. That's what it sounds like on the song, on this version at least. And so all that is I use my middle finger on the 14th fret of the B, take my pointer finger, put it on the 15th fret of the B, my pointer finger on the 14th fret of the G, and I pick down, on both of them. Then I take my ring finger and I pick the 16th fret of the D, and then I go back to the same 3 notes I just hit. Okay? And then I go back, and then I go back to the 11th fret, the 14th fret of the G. Again, that same note. But then I go to the 17th fret of the B. And I pick up, by the way. And I pick up when I'm on the B string, essentially, but you can pick any way you want. And it goes back down to the 11th fret, 14th fret of the G. And then it repeats. It's kind of like that note, the 14th fret of the G is the centerpiece of that one. And again, maybe it's the delay he has to, whatever. I'm just showing you how I play it. It could be wrong, but it sounds right. It can play with the song on the official video. Then it just repeats it 3 times, total of 3 times. The next time he goes, what I do is I hit the pointer finger on the 14th fret of the B, 14th fret of the G, 14th fret of the D, and then back up, same notes, and then I go back down again to back to that centerpiece, the 14th fret of the G, and then I go back to the 17th fret of the B. land on the 14th fret of the G, that centerpiece. So that whole thing slowly is. Alright, and then that's the third part. So the fourth part is similar to the beginning in that it's the same chord, but it's not the same picking pattern. It goes. It does it in a straight, the same picking pattern as far as hitting the D, G, B, and E in that order, but the rhythm of it is simplified. So it's just going. And I think it does a total of 8 right there with it. Then what I do is what he does is add your pinky to the 12th fret of the B and play the same thing 4 times. I like that change. It reminds me of Alan Parsons Project song. And then the last chord, basically there's 4 chord changes going on. The first 2, he stays on this. Change. Another change. Then he goes this one. What that is kind of weird, is you take your, what I do is I take my ring finger and I put it on the 17th fret of the D. And then I take my pointer finger, put it on the 14th fret of the G, which that note is loved in this song. And then I use my middle finger to hit the 15th fret of the B. Again, just like that other lick. And then yes, it's an open E. It sounds weird, but that's how it sounds. So the whole part slow is. Messed that part up. Then it goes back. Then it goes that does that whole thing twice, and then it goes back into the. So that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my video or my channel to see more of these kind of videos. Thanks so much. Have a great day.